Okay. Let's see here. Where'd I put that remote? Ah, yeah. Here we go. Alright, so time to put on Netflix here. I've already managed to mispronounce the name of Marvin He Mayer last week. I've already managed to forget the name of Sigrid in my Eurovision review, calling her Celia. I wonder how I'm gonna botch it this week. Ah, well, it's probably nothing huge. I mean, what could I possibly have to review? Oh. Whew, this is gonna be complicated. Two documentaries in 1 month. I don't know if I should be proud of myself for broadening my horizons or disappointed with Netflix because this is the best they could come up with. I mean, I guess I could talk about season 2 of Umbrella Academy, but that's not how this series works. Maybe another time. In the meantime, let's take a look at this documentary series entitled Love on the Spectrum. I'm just gonna come clean right now and say that when I heard the premise for this documentary, I was filled with my share of dread. Hey guys, you know what would make a great idea for a show? Let's gather up a bunch of random autistic people and film them trying to figure out how dating works. Genius! This is going to be one of those documentaries, isn't it? One of these documentaries where it's really not about empowerment and more about humiliation and making the viewer feel good about themselves because, yeah, my life sucks, but at least I'm not that guy. You know, your average TLC documentary fodder, like Honey Boo Boo, My Strange Addiction, Abby and Brittany, etc., etc. And yes, I'm well aware I've made some jokes at the expense of snowflakes and social justice and cancel culture and whatever. And then suddenly we get into impaired people territory and suddenly I'm the one getting all flaky and defensive. True, I don't have autism. At absolute worst, one of my teachers in middle school thought that I might have ADD, but I do not have autism. I don't have ADD either. My impairment is strictly visual. It is a condition called Peters anomaly, and it is a very lengthy explanation, but I will abridge it here and say that my eyes are basically being held together with duct tape and safety pins at this point. I only have one functioning eye. And I try to watch as much as I can, but while I still got it. But I have been around my share of autistic people, largely because I went to a state school for the blind when I was younger, and it's there you realize that the impaired communities have a lot of overlap, so on top of blindness, you also had a few kids there that were autistic. Some higher functioning than others, but autistic all the same. I'm friends with autistic people, I've had coworkers who suffered from autism. I'm vaguely familiar with how this works. So when a documentary like this comes out, you'll understand that my immediate reaction is, oh god, are we going to be exploiting these people? Is this going to be funny to somebody? Please tell me this isn't going to be funny. And I don't mean like heartwarming or endearing kind of funny. I mean, oh, thank god I'm not that guy funny. I just feel for the autistic people to a degree because I just know for a fact that there are people who are going to be looking at autistic people and like, oh, you're like Michael from that Love on the Spectrum show. And I know this for a fact because as a blind person, people regularly think I'm fucking Daredevil. And no, I'm not making this up. I've genuinely gotten questions from people I've met for the first time who ask if I have heightened senses. You know, like Daredevil. I don't know. Maybe, I mean, I was born this way. I don't know what normal is. Okay, rant over. I just wanted to get that off my chest because I'm pretty sure this documentary isn't going to be as endearing and heartwarming as the people who made it thought it's going to be. I suppose on the positive side of things, no, it's not one of those TLC documentaries. It actually does genuinely feel like people are helping these guys and that this isn't designed to make you laugh at them. I mean, there are a couple of funny moments and there are a couple of moments that are just outright awkward, but to be honest, that's really less to do with the production and really more to do with just how the people featured in this documentary are, because well, they're autistic, you know? I did my usual 3-episode sample for this show, and I don't really see myself finishing this, if only because it has a very episodic sort of feel to it for the most part. Like, we do focus on Michael probably more than any other autistic person featured in this documentary based on the 3 episodes I saw, but it strikes me as something that, like, I could afford to maybe watch every once in a blue moon, you know, like, I'm between shows and, I haven't finished this documentary, maybe I could just check out and see where I left off, you know? There's probably a lot of useful information here for people who have never worked with autistic people, like, ever. I mean, Lord knows I've been around my share of autistic people, so I'm kind of familiar with some of these things, like when that one lady was going on about how she's self-employed and how her job has her putting out a bunch of fires, and Michael's just kind of sitting there like, yeah, uh-huh. Yeah, like, he's really trying to sound like he's interested, but you can just look at him and you can see in his mind that they could literally be talking about anything else right now. It's a well put together documentary series, and you could definitely do worse in terms of what the subject matter is. I'm just gonna come out and say 3 out of 4, why not? And that's gonna do it for this week's episode of Hatflix and Chill. Be sure to come back next time, and maybe I will have another documentary. Or maybe I'll finally find a movie or a TV show. Who knows? Until then, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell to show that you mean it. You can follow me on Twitter. The link will be down there, @TommyTealHat. Until next time.